I'm George Negus. I'm George Negus. I'm George Negus.
How about a hand for this guy? This is probably one of the most popular television personalities we've got, George Negus.
The Israelis won't admit that they've got the bomb.
You cannot take photos. Please.
Why not? Why can't we take photos? I was an ex-school teacher, ex-high school teacher, and I sort of conned my way into journalism somehow.
6 p.m. with George Negus.
G'day, welcome to the very first 6 p.m. Why do people stop us in the street almost and tell us that Margaret Thatcher isn't just inflexible, she's not just single-minded, on occasion she's plain pig-headed and won't be told by anyone.
Would you tell me who has stopped you in the street and said that?
Ordinary Britons.
Where?
In conversation.
But I thought
in
you've
pubs.
just come from Belize.
Oh, this is not the first time we've been here.
Will you tell me who and where and when?
Ordinary Britons in restaurants,
How
in
many?
cabs.
How many?
I would say at least 1 in 2.
I'm sorry, it's an expression I've never heard. Tell me who has said it to you, when,
These
and
are
where.
people that we meet in passing.
But
and we
of course you
obviously
cannot
raise
say
the
who
question
or
of
where.
the state of their country with them. And they tell us, yes, we have a tough Prime Minister, but she's a little bit pig-headed. She won't be told by anybody.
Isn't this interesting? Even the tone of voice you're using is changing from what you used earlier.
He was a bloody good interviewer, but he had the sense of theatre. You really have to be entertaining. Now, that's not a sin. That's a great thing for television. And George did it probably better than anybody.
Hayes, and a very good morning to you all, and welcome to George, day one.
Nice to be here.
You're not dealing with Margaret Thatcher now.
Answer it.
I'll answer it and say yes, which I've said everywhere else.
I think what a lot of journalists forget, it's not about us. No audience, no program, no pay packet, no experience, no world travel, folks. You know, we don't have a job unless somebody's watching. Even driving a car through their streets on the Jewish Sabbath is sin.
George Negus never wanted to be safe. That's boring. He is not that bloke that wants to be confused with others.
They describe you as an ex-boozer and womaniser. Ex.
No, the X is definitely correct.
For both.
I heard your question.
And that's your answer.
You take a lot of convincing, don't you?
Some people even saw you as a Nelson Mandela of Malaysia. Who is your worst enemy, Mr. President?
America.
America.
One has to ask you, why go back to Pakistan at all?
Pakistan is my country.
Don't be facetious.
Good talking to you.
Thanks, George.
Lonely old George here is a classic example of how man can upset nature if he really puts his mind to it.
I don't think we thought we were just journalists. We were deliverers. You know, we were actually doing something that a lot of Australians, you know, had never done before. They'd never watched television for 15 or 50 more minutes every Sunday night. Regardless of how aligned or non-aligned the nations gathered here say they are, probably the most intriguing factor about this whole huge international affair is that America, a mere 90 miles away to the north, still refuses officially to recognise that the host nation, Cuba, even exists. At 5 o'clock this morning from our base in Algeria to film the Polisario patrol, what we found out is that we're actually part of one. I remember the first time I came here, it had almost a religious feeling to it. I mean, as though communism was a form of religion. Poverty is still the most critical issue of our time.
I don't think it's too late. I've never felt healthier and fitter in my life, George. Beat you up at tennis anytime.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, sure we will.
Halos get very heavy and they tend to rust very quickly.
What is your motivation? Would you call yourself a pure humanitarian?
Do I get paid for talking to him? No? Okay.
What did I say?
They created television for someone like George Negus. He was charismatic, he was funny, he was forceful in his opinions. I mean, his opinions, he had opinions about everything. And he liked telling stories, and he liked people. I mean, at the end of the day, the person you saw on television, that was Negus. That was George Negus. What you saw was what you got.